everyone. Today, we are joined by a business trader and author of several books on communication skills. Please welcome Sergey Kuzin.
Hello, Diana. Great to
Hello,
see you.
Sergey.
Great
Uh,
to see
yeah,
everyone.
sorry, go for it.
Great to see everyone.
Great to see
Give
you.
me a chance to talk to you and answer your questions. I am ready.
Cool, awesome. Sergey, before we start, do you mind just telling us a little bit more about what you do, just so people know who you are and what you do day to day?
Yeah, my job is to help very important people get ready for very important speeches. Sometimes very important speech is a speech in front of your CEO. I'm now in the company and I helped CEOs speak in front of their team members. And sometimes I help CEOs speak at the economic forums, such as World Economic Forum in Davos, for example.
That sounds great. And
And yeah, I received that topic. I wrote a dissertation in the University of Iowa, the United States, and my PhD work was dedicated to the first televised debates between Nixon and Kennedy. So I got my PhD in social psychology, and I really researched the topic of debates and answering tough questions as part of the political campaign. And then I wrote 4 books about how to speak on public and how to answer tough questions.
that's fascinating. Wow. That kind of slightly answers my next question because I wanted to ask you what got you started? And was there a moment in your life when you thought, aha, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, teach people how to communicate better? Is there another story in there?
Line of fire, the art and science
Sorry,
of
Sergey. One moment. Can you say that
yep,
one more
yeah.
time? So we lost you for a moment.
Looks like it's lagging. The answer is lagging. Can repeat the question again?
Sure. So the question was, what got you started? When did you decide that, aha, I want to help people overcome communication challenges for the rest of my life? Was there a moment like that when you thought, aha, this is what I want to do?
Um, I was translating the president of Reebok. He was celebrating the 10th anniversary of his company in Moscow, actually. And I worked as an interpreter. And he addressed the audience of 400 people by saying some expected things, some cliches like "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to see you. This is our 10th anniversary." And then I was an interpreter. I was 21 years old. I took the microphone and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, 10 years old. That's a good number. Let's celebrate it." So I was interpreting him in a very, very free manner. And the MC of that evening said, "Hey, how much did you pay for the interpreter?" And I had a very bad time with my boss after that, who told me, "Hey, Sergey, you are just an interpreter. You are no speaker. You have to be the shadow of the speaker." That was the moment. That was the aha moment where I understood that I am no shadow. I don't want to be a shadow. I want to be the speaker. Give me the microphone. That was the moment that when I decided to be a speaker, and when I became a speaker, actually, I saw a lot of people around me who needed help. So my job was to help other people like me get success on the stage.
Yeah, I really like that. That's actually a really fun story. I don't want to be in shadows anymore. I want to speak.
Give me the mic.
Exactly. Nice. And so you've been in business for a while now. And do you have any examples for our audience of maybe public figures who answered a question so badly it damaged their reputation?
Let me think about John Kerry vice presidential campaign, town hall meeting, and debater matters in the hands of the listeners. Debatometer is a device where you have two buttons, green and red. If you like the speaker, you push the green button. If you don't like the speaker, you push the red button. And you can push it all the time throughout the speeches. So John Kerry was actually leading. He is a very proficient speaker. But when it came to answering questions, one of the questions was, is that true that some of the foreign leaders are sponsoring your political campaign? That was pretty provocative questions. And what John Kerry did is that he crossed his arms behind his back, frowned his face like this, and said, "This is not your business." And then he continued to answer the question by saying, "Next question, please." And then everybody started pushing the red buttons, and the score of John Kerry, guess what? Went down, and went down forever. He never recovered. And this is not the end of the story. Behind the scenes, after the debates, he was asked the same question by a journalist. And he said, "You know what? I have agreements, ethical and legal, with my partners that did not allow me to speak and to actually name the people who sponsor my campaign. Why wouldn't you answer the same thing? This is exactly what you should have told the audience. Why did you say this is not your business?" That was a complete mistake. That was so bad that he never recovered.
It's interesting. So does it mean that instead he should have just told the truth in a way, like the reason why he couldn't tell them? And like, is this what you think other people should do when they, like one of the things they should do when they hear a difficult question they don't want to answer? What's your take on it as an expert?
The problem is that he did not answer the question, and he did not explain why he doesn't answer the question. If you do that, this is perceived as evasion. And evasion is really a bad strategy. That means that you have to hide something. By doing so, you arouse suspicion. And if you refuse to answer and explain why you refuse to answer, by definition, it means that you give an answer. So if you refuse to answer it, explain why, that's an answer. That's a legal answer.
Okay,
So don't evade. Explain why you can't answer, and that will be fair enough.
That's a good tip. A simple tip, actually. Very simple. Okay, thank you. And Sergey, how do you personally deal with people who resist your ideas, perhaps, or don't support your ideas? Any stories from your work life, perhaps?
How I deal with them, most of the time I have to deal with my wife. She is the number one resistant. She resists more than ever, more than my business partners. So all you have to do is give her a hug, or give him a hug, even if it's about a business partner. That doesn't mean a physical hug. It could be a mental hug. So if you don't hug that person mentally, you have very little chance to overcome the resistance. If you do that, your rhetoric changes, your tone changes, your glance changes, your mimics changes, your nonverbal communication becomes different. You become softer. You are ready to listen. Once you've given a person a hug, even if it's a mental hug, that gives you a much wider opportunity for a dialogue to ask a question. And the three best question that really helped me overcome resistance in business life is, what's important for you, what else, and what's more important. If you ask what's important for you, most of the time people say everything is important. They don't answer. But then you ask, what else? Okay, if that is important, what else is important? And then when the person starts listing what's important for him or her by saying that, for example, price is important, delivery conditions are important, then the third question is, what's more important for you? And if you find out that delivery conditions or dates, for example, are the number one, like timing is the number one criteria he is using, then you can suggest him a solution based on his number one interest. To support your solution, to give him a solution that area answers his interest, you have to find out his interest. And if you find out that's timing, all your argumentation will be based on timing. You'll be
Mhm.
saying that's the best solution because it's quick, because you'll have it in time, because it will be before December the 1st, which is the most important date for her, for you.
Mhm.
So, first, give him a mental hug. Second, ask him three questions: what's important, what else, and what's more important.
Ah, that's a really good strategy. I'll make sure to try that myself next time somebody doesn't like my idea. Okay. And okay, next question. Uh, well, actually, it's a similar question. Actually, I wanted to ask you how can starting leaders start to sell their ideas? And well, what about confidence part? So it's under pressure. It's really hard to face the resistance, right? So let's say a person who is an early leader comes to the team and suggests a really good idea. They know that it's a very good idea. By they, I mean the leader. But the team is not happy with the idea. They're like, oh no, I don't want to do this. Oh no, it's a terrible idea. Or maybe somebody might say, oh, our boss is an idiot. Now, in these situations, what should the reaction be? And especially, how do you make sure you don't lose ground, you don't lose confidence in situations like that?
Make research. You have to go into the audience and test your idea before you actually describe it in public. Talk to the key stakeholders. Ask him to criticize you.
Mm.
Before you go in public, you must be criticized. You must get yourself under pressure and try to kill your idea with your own hands. And if you can't kill it with your hands, it will be killed by somebody else's hands. So your idea should not be the first time when they hear it. So if it's the first time they hear that idea, in most cases, they will be against it. It should be the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time, because you've already tested it in the other auditoriums. You talked to the people during the coffee breaks. You took them on a lunch. You took them on to a pub on Friday, and you tried and tested that idea in one-on-one conversations with other bosses, other colleagues who influence the final decision. So if you tried and tested it several times and tried to kill your own idea before you actually start presenting it in public, in most cases, you will know how to overcome resistance. And you, you can actually start by saying that, hey guys, you're going to kill me. This is not the most popular idea. You've heard about that. And I still want to tell it to you. Because when you say that somebody will kill you for that idea, their intention to kill you is less, becomes less.
Yeah,
This is one of the strategy.
that's a good one as well. I really like this. I love this interview. It's so full of different strategies. Like I feel like I'm getting a one-on-one help and support from you. I mean, I'm that's really cool. Okay, Sergey. Before we conclude this, is there anything else you wish to tell people or share? Um, Anything really? Something I haven't asked you, perhaps?
You ask about a bad example of answering a question. Maybe I can give a good example of answering a question in public.
Yeah.
I love the example of General Schwarzkopf, who was the best example of short answers. He could answer, yes, it is, or no, it isn't, to 80% of the questions that he got. And he was so persuasive by just saying, yes, it is, and no, it isn't. Like in 80% of the cases, he says, yes, it is. No, you're not. You're not right. You're wrong. You're right. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Short answers, but so clear. We're so afraid to give the short and simple yes or no answers. We go into such long speeches very often, and it leaves such a vague impression about you. So So try to learn from General Schwarzkopf by answering yes or no. Yes and no are probably the shortest and the most powerful answer you can ever give to people.
Oh, that's a good one too. Thank you. Any other tips on the Q&As and presentations, by the way? Because that a lot of people, for a lot of people, it's really hard to do the presentation, to stand in public, all that. But the worst of it is the final part where you're unprepared. All that knowledge, all these materials could be discredited right with one question. Any tips on how to handle those situations? The Q&A at the end of your presentation.
By one question. And one of the strategies is humor.
Oh, Sergey?
Yep.
Can you start your answer one more time? We lost the voice for a little bit. Sound.
Yes. One of the best strategies to answer the questions is humor. When you take the Q&A as an opportunity and as a fun, as an opportunity to have fun, in that case, you have a better chance to answer. For example, Arnold Schwarzenegger was, when he was about 65 years old, he was again asked, "Is that true that you took part in the pornography movies?" He said, "Oh, that's a very old question. Next one, please." He was pretending older than he was actually, and everybody got the humor. That's a very old question. Next one, please. Use humor and give the questioner a mental hug. So show love and care. You like the opportunity to give the answer. Q&A is no test. It's an opportunity to deliver your message and make it clear for your audience what you think about your subject matter. So if you really have fun and give a mental hug to the questioner, it will be the best strategy.
Sounds simple, but it sounds also so hard when somebody is like poking holes in your theories. So you're like, I should hug them as well. Gosh.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about how to answer. I'm thinking about how to kill you.
Exactly.
That's what the speaker's face oftentimes tell to the listeners. But if you switch your mind, it's all about the attitude, If you switch your mind to the mode of curiosity, if you switch your mind to the mode of care, if you become, if you try on the role of a kind master, so you master the situation, but you're kind to the people, as if you're receiving them as guests in your own house. So subject.
You see them as the guest in your house.
Exactly. Yeah, they are all the guests. Sometimes guests are not polite. Is that true? Yes, it is true. Sometimes guests are not polite. But if you are the owner of that house, you own the situation, you own the subject matter, that allows you to stay favorable yet confident. That's the balance of staying favorable and confident. If you're confident but not favorable, that's a bad idea. If you're favorable but not confident, that's again a bad idea. But if you keep the balance of confidence and favorability, you stay a master and the owner of the situation and the owner of the house, called the subject matter. And you welcome your listeners and your questioners as guests in your house. You want them to feel comfortable. You welcome them there. And whatever they ask you, you receive it as an opportunity to talk to everyone else. You do not focus on the negativity. You just look at the glass that is half full, not half empty. And if you do that, you take every question as a chance to deliver your message. And especially if the question is provocative, you get even more attention. But if the question is not provocative, that's boring, If the question is provocative, you get double, triple attention. like X10 if it's super provocative, because now everyone is listening to you. If you remember the case when somebody in Iran, I think George Bush the senior, somebody threw the boots into the president when he was given the press conference. He said, "Oh, that's a nice boot. Looks like the size is 43. That guy wanted to attract your attention, and that's what we do in democratic societies. And this is one of our achievements in this country." So he was talking about democracy, using the shoe as a reason to talk about democracy. So whatever they throw at you, you can use it as a reason to reach back to your message. So whatever they throw at you, however they do, doesn't matter if it's a shoe, a rotten egg, a rotten tomato, or a provocative question, you use it as an opportunity to reach back to your message and get your message across. And if it's a rotten tomato, you have X10 attention and a greater chance to deliver your message. If it was not for the shoe, George Bush probably would not have tens of millions of viewers. It would be just a simple press conference, like a couple of hundred people, maybe 1,000 people, not more than that. Now, millions of people are watching that piece of video again and again. And guess what? They listen about the democracy message he's delivering. After years, his presidency is over, but his messages are still resounding. They are with us after years. This is how effective you can be if you use the provocative question as an opportunity to bridge back to your subject matter.
Wow. Sounds like a skill I would love to develop. And Sergey, so of course you are joining us as a speaker at the Skillsme Leadership Summit. What kind of things will people learn from you at your session?
First of all, I will help people to maintain stance and keep the balance between favorability and confidence, because some people have a problem being overconfident and supercilious, talking down to the people. And even more people, I notice that they look up to the people, they lose the balance of confidence and favorability in favor of favorability. They're losing confidence. So I will show you how to keep that balance to remain both positive and confident. Number two, you will get an answer, like a very short and simple step 1, step 2, step 3 universal answering scheme, and you will be able to answer provocative questions like 1, 2, 3, as easy as that. And number 3, you will change your attitude to the negativity, aggression, and resistance. From now on, after the master class, and it will be as short as 15 or 20 minutes maximum, you will get a new angle, a new vision of what a conflict situation could be for you and how you can manage it in a way that it brings you more benefits than risks. So you will learn how to change your attitude, how to keep your balance, and how to get a simple 1, 2, 3 step formula to answer any provocative questions or verbal attack in your business setting or situation.
Sounds like incredibly valuable skills there. I look forward to attending your session myself, Sergey.
I'm looking forward to it too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was lovely to chat with you. We'll leave Sergey's contact information below this video, and we hope to see you all at the summit. Bye-bye, Sergey. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, Diana. Thanks a lot.